Hello and thank you for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Najat. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on YouTube channel, NTA News Online. You can also visit our Twitter at NTA News Now. Our Facebook page is NTA Network News, and Instagram, we're NTA Network for more updates. Now, the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has advised members of the diplomatic community in Nigeria to stay within the limits of their schedules and not intrude into internal politics of the country as the countdown to 2023 elections gather momentum. This is while receiving letters of credence from new ambassadors posted to Nigeria on tour of duty. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports.
The new ambassadors who presented their letters of credence to President Muhammadu Buhari were Zdeněk Krejčí of Czech Republic, Stefano De Leo of the Republic of Italy, Juan Ignacio Celsang of the Kingdom of Spain, and Michael Schoal Freeman of the State of Israel. And as the envoys formally assumed their representational duties in Nigeria, President Buhari was quick to remind them of what he called the interesting political period ahead as Nigerians return to the polls early next year to elect new political leaders.
As you settle down in the face of these developments, it is my hope that you will also be guided by diplomatic practice to ensure that your activities remain within the limits of your profession as you monitor the build-up to and the conduct of the general elections next year.
The president is optimistic that the envoys will appreciate the uniqueness and strength in Nigeria's political, socio-economic, and cultural diversities, which he said can be leveraged in further advancing relations with their countries to significant heights.
We are living in unprecedented times and with so much uncertainties, especially the rise in global insecurity, among other existential threats to our collective peace, progress, and shared values. For us in Nigeria, we continue to make steady progress despite the daunting challenges, especially in the areas of insecurity, fight against corruption, diversification of the economy, and our efforts in promoting good governance amongst other aspirations.
Nigeria, he also said, will continue to work with member states of ECOWAS and other regional blocs to deal with the problems of terrorism, transborder crimes, banditry, maritime issues, as well as the recent wave of unconstitutional changes of government.
We are engaging in frank self-retrospection in order to identify and isolate appropriate containment strategies that can help de-escalate the drift into the unconstitutional seizure of power in the sub-region.
The ambassador of Czech Republic, who responded on behalf of the new diplomats, told the president that they are indeed honored that the relations between their countries and Nigeria are good and fruitful.
We are ready to do our best to develop them even further, meeting all variety of your people and developing comprehensive cooperation between our nations.
The future of Africa will be decided here. So we work here for stability, for peace, for development, for the whole continent, and it's really a privilege to stay and to work in Nigeria.
I plan to work not only through contacts with the government and the administration, but to foster those people-to-people contacts that in the end it's the basis on which to enrich our relations.
There is so much for Israel and Nigeria to partner with, to share together, to learn on issues such as health and education, high-tech, innovation, job creation, security. Really the sky is the limit, and I have no doubt that Israel and Nigeria will be able to work together, grow together for the benefit of both our countries and both of our peoples.
All the new envoys were earlier on arrival at the nation's seat of government treated to a befitting diplomatic welcome by officers and soldiers of the Presidential Guards Brigade. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, with millions of children still at risk in Nigeria due to one reason or another, the federal government is taking further steps to secure their future. A summit is ongoing in Abuja to strategize on how to ensure that out-of-school children who are the most vulnerable among the lot are included in the formal social system of society and given a better future.
The only way to guarantee the long-term peace and prosperity of our communities is to invest in our children by providing opportunities for them to thrive and be productive within their chosen paths, therefore thereby giving them hope for a better future.
In line with this, the summit is advocating step-up of enlightenment campaigns across the country on the importance of education. Adulterated petrol in circulation, supplied by 4 companies and shipped from Belgium. The CEO of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mile Kolukyari, gave the details in a meeting with representatives of the affected companies in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
The queues suddenly appeared at the filling stations. Reason initially not known. But on the 8th of February 2022, the Midstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority disclosed that there is an adulterated petrol in circulation. So, some filling stations under observation for product tracing. What the authority didn't tell Nigerians then was who are the suppliers, and that gap is what Mele Kolukyari, the CEO of the NNPC Limited, is filling.
NNPC investigations revealed the presence of methanol in 4 of the PMS cargos imported by our DSTP suppliers, including MRS, MRDEV, High Energy, AYM, Kifi, Britannia, U Consortium, Oando, and also our own company, Dick Oil. It is important to note that the usual quality inspection protocol employed in both load port in Belgium and our discharge ports in Nigeria do not include the test for percentage of methanol content, and therefore additive was not detected by our quality inspectors. We'd like also to emphasize that all defaulting suppliers have been put on notice for remedial actions, and NNPC will work with the authority to take further necessary actions in line with subsisting regulations.
The suppliers admitted.
We're going to work with NNPC to ensure that this issue is resolved.
It's one of our consortium member, Britannia U, that supplied the cargo, and we are working together in solving the problem.
We recognise that the NNPC is a long-standing trading partner of Litasco, and we're committed to help alleviate whatever problems there are in the country at the moment.
Working with the government to address the situation means taking the product off the market, and other issues may also follow. Mia Ogidi, NT News.
Still on petrol, key players in the downstream petroleum sector are calling for a holistic approach to avert situations like the methanol-contaminated petrol saga. Lydia Sampson reports.
Situations like these are certainly not palatable for industry players.
It is a very, very difficult period for us. And it's very important to update our customers and the members of the general public on the ongoing efforts by NNPC and other stakeholders to resolve the issues generated by the unfortunate supply and discharge of methanol-blended gasoline in some Nigerian depots.
The need for a holistic approach towards lasting solution is the focus of all stakeholders.
There's a surveyor that actually went on board that took samples. Because this parameter was not indicated, they didn't capture that parameter. So it's a mistake. Now, going forward, obviously, we have to try and look at all parameters, all the components of imported products.
The Major Marketers Association of Nigeria, Moment, says they are optimistic that lessons learned will be deployed to reposition grey areas in the supply chain.
We had about 136 reported cases of issues with cars. We addressed all of them. What we're trying to do now is to manage 2 things. One is to make sure that operations continue as normal. The worst thing that has happened to, I think, this country in quite a few years is seeing those queues build up again. We're working assiduously to make sure that the clean products that we receive into our systems are pushed through to consumers immediately.
For now, depot owners and major marketers say they are working around the clock to supply quality products to keep the nation moving. This situation has not gone down without some demands for remediation following claims of losses. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Similarly, motorists in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, are urging relevant authorities to expedite action on remedial efforts to tackle the fuel crisis hitting the people in the capital. Ekene Ndulue reports.
Circulation of adulterated petrol is the reason regulatory agencies have placed some fuel stations under observation. This situation has affected availability of the product across the city, leading to queues in stations that are dispensing the products. Motorists, some of whom have waited over an hour before getting close to the fuel pump, lament the situation.
I can see 1 hour now, which I'm on the line. So, the business I'm doing, I have to leave it to come and get fuel.
In the past, I used to buy like 2,000 naira. When the fuel got finished, I will go for another one. But this time around, I have to fill my tank so that I won't be coming to the fuel station all the time.
What is the way forward? This retired civil servant seems to have the answer.
I will suggest to the government to make sure that they have at least 6 refineries in 6 geographical areas of Nigeria, and this fuel problem will be averted once and for all.
Petty black market dealers have, however, continued to take advantage of the situation as they make quick sales to motorists who cannot wait in the queue. Ekene Ndulue, NTA News.
Now for a bit on power. Nigeria is targeting energy sufficiency by the year 2030 with 30% renewable energy mix, with the Minister of State for Power, Godijedi Agba, restating government's commitment to achieving this. And this was while inaugurating the Board of Rural Electrification Agency. Joshua Ojito reports.
Driving federal government vision 30-30-30 for energy sufficiency is the Rural Electrification Agency, with Abdulaziz Musayar Adwa as the new board chairman, expected to work in synergy with the managing director, Ahmad Salihijo, and other board members to achieve target results of providing electricity to unserved and underserved communities. Minister of State for Power, Godijedi Agba, tasked the new board members to hit the ground running and deliver results.
We will have performance targets which will come to review from time to time to see how far you've gone and make inputs or take out something from what you've done or not done. So we expect that with this cooperation, we emphasize more on harmony and working together, synergy. If there's synergy between the board and management, we'll have no friction.
I want to assure Mr. President that we shall approach our assignment with determination, forthrightness and fear of Allah, so that his objective of provision of light to rural communities will be achieved.
The new Board for Rural Electrification Agency has 6 members representing the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, with representatives of federal ministries of power and finance, as well as Bureau of Public Enterprises. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
This is nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Hingino in Lagos has the next set of reports. Over to you, Hingino.
Thank you, Najatu. The fuel situation in most petrol stations within Lagos metropolis is stable, without long queues seen in the past days. Amaka Owo monitored the situation and now reports.
It's another day of normalcy as there are easy movement in and out of petrol stations. For these motorists, the availability of the product comes as a relief from the inconveniences experienced in previous days.
The only thing I would say is to advise people not to panic, because I got here and there's no queue, no nothing. I just drove into this place and got my gas.
However this happened is a miracle. So to see it being free today is something that we need to thank God for.
We can but express some level of thankfulness that the thing was short-lived, in the sense that as of Monday, I actually came out with an empty tank, rushing to work. only to see queue as long as like almost 2 kilometers.
Stakeholders in the oil and gas industry, on the other hand, are making frantic efforts in maintaining standards in line with specifications meant for the country. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
At every point in time, the leadership at the Western Naval Command of the Nigerian Navy will always execute its core mandate of fighting crimes and enhancing maritime safety in the command's operational area. Flag Officer Commanding Rear Admiral Yakubu Wambai gave this assurance during his maiden engagement with officers and ratings of the command. Samuel Johnson reports.
In the past 1 year, the Premier Command of the Nigerian Navy, the Western Naval Command, APAPA, achieved major milestones both in its international mandate of protecting the Gulf of Guinea and also in tackling maritime crimes, especially from the Atlas Cove jetty in Lagos to Ogun and Oyo states. 10 sea pirates got blooded nose from the Nigerian Navy following their conviction by a federal high court in Lagos, while the arrest of high-profile vessels and persons involved in drug trafficking also recorded. As the command opens the new year under a new leadership, the mission remains the same, but the target clear.
Navy is about one thing, onward together. And we must learn to move as we are. One thing for sure, whatever he has done, don't expect less. If I cannot surpass it, it will be at that level.
With an already established template for success and the commitment of officers and ratings of the Nigerian Navy, the immediate past Flag Officer Commanding Rear Admiral Jason Bassa believes that the command will always discharge its mandate.
My officers, the ratings and civilian staff, I could not have asked for a better team than the ones I had. For everything we were able to achieve, these men gave their last bit.
The event was also opportunity for officers and men to interact with the new leadership. In Lagos, Samuel Johnson, NTA News.
Don't forget that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on YouTube at NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page at NTA Network News, Twitter handle at NTA News Now, and on Instagram at NTA Network for updates. We pause here for our first break. Nationwide continues from our Enugu Network Center after that.
The 157-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Railway is the first double-track standard gauge railway to be built in West Africa. The Mobolaji Johnson train station is a masterpiece, an infrastructure that is gradually becoming an iconic building in Lagos State. The modern facilities put the station on a world map of train stations. Likewise, other new train stations across the country built to world-class standards. The train and its convenience is indeed an admirable effort, with commendations from Nigerians.
This is a station that we have to commend the federal government for putting a beautiful face, empowering us in Lagos State, not only in economic and political arena.
I can say that I'm really impressed with the infrastructures in place. Kudos to the Minister of Transportations. Kudos to the federal government.
Truly, good things are coming out of Nigeria, and the federal government is deserving of all the applause.
The Ahmadu Bello University Distance Learning Center invites you to join any of its online NUC accredited undergraduate and postgraduate courses. The center, which has been ranked the best in quality assurance by the National Universities Commission, offers BSc in Business Administration, Economics, Sociology, Public Administration, Accounting, Computer Science, International Studies, Political Science, and Bachelor of Nursing Science, ABUDLC. Also offers postgraduate diploma in Management, postgraduate diploma in Education, Master in Public Administration, MPA, Master in Business Administration MBA, Master in Public Health, Master in Information Management, and Master in Law and Criminal Justice. With ABU DLC, you can get flexible learning experience and acquire the same certificate as conventional learners. For more information, visit www.abudlc.edu.ng or email support@abudlc.edu.ng or call 0815 30010.
Candidates who are interested in gaining admission into NTATV College, Jos, for the 2021-2022 two-year National Innovation Diploma Program are to apply for admission through the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB. Courses available for application include Film and Television Production, Broadcast Journalism, and Television Engineering Technology. Such candidates must have a minimum of 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects including English language and mathematics. For inquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. Management Announcer.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV Channel 251, GoTV Channel 91, Freeview UK Channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk, app for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Good evening and welcome to Enugu Network Center. 3 policemen were allegedly gunned down this afternoon along Maryland area of Enugu State by unknown gunmen. James Obarikocha visited the scene of the incident and now reports.
The ever-busy road leading to Maryland area of Enugu State became lonely as motorists avoided the route following the alleged killing of 3 policemen and a POS operator hit by stray bullets.
This is the road leading to Maryland area. In front of me there is the Maryland estate. And behind me here is the City Park Hotel. This exact spot is where the incident occurred, where 3 policemen were shot dead.
A woman was also reportedly kidnapped while her Mercedes-Benz Jeep was abandoned. Efforts to get people around the area to speak failed as no one wanted to appear on camera. An eyewitness who spoke off camera told NTA roving crew, who arrived at the scene as soon as the story went viral on social media, confirmed the incident. He reported that 2 vehicles carrying over 10 young men passed the first checkpoint and were at the second one where they were stopped by the police on stop and search duty. They were said to have opened fire on the ill-prepared policemen, gunning down 3 of them. Blood of the shot policemen were seen on the road at the scene of the crime. The IG Intelligence Response Team later arrived. From Enugu, James Oparikocha, NTA News.
Ministries, departments, and agencies in Enugu State have been charged to step up their duties and set up monitoring mechanisms that will tackle all revenues generated by their offices. The State Governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, gave this charge while declaring open a one-day summit organized for the revenue-generating MDAs in the state to brainstorm and re-strategize on ways of meeting and surpassing the 2022 internally generated revenue IGR target. Susan Eze has details.
To be able to raise the funds to meet the recurrent and capital investment obligations of government, especially in the face of dwindling federal allocations, key officers from the revenue-generating ministries, departments, and agencies in Enugu State are here in this hall to find innovative ways of tracking government revenues and making the agencies more financially viable. This summit, he said, is to analyze challenges and profile solutions.
The time has arisen for Enugu State to look inwards with a view to harnessing its potentials. We can acknowledge, however, that the dwindling fortunes of oil has had its uses, as it has compelled us to explore other opportunities for survival.
Though key actors in the state finance sector bemoan the global economic downturn, they are in agreement that now is the time for the state to key into the World Bank fiscal reform process and develop a sustainable revenue generation system driven by the State Internal Revenue Service.
The governor of Enugu State has a lot of projects in all the local governments of the state. All those projects must be completed. And the only way to complete these projects is to ensure that there's funding for the projects to be done. And that is why we're having this summit.
The summit will review budget performance in the last 3 years and acquaint the MDAs with their revenue target for 2022. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
That's a bit from here. Nationwide continues with Niger 2 in Abuja.
Thank you very much and welcome back to our Abuja studios. We're talking legislative matters now. The House of Representatives has passed a resolution to investigate the recent importation, release and sale of adulterated petrol across the country. The House Chief Whip, Mohammed Tahir Monguno, raised the issue as a matter of urgent public importance during plenary, highlighting the cost to the economy. House members also expressed worry about the situation being the result of a lack of credible monitoring and surveillance system to guarantee quality. The coming on board of the Petroleum Industry Act made the newly established Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority directly responsible for enforcement of standards and monitoring of operational, commercial and technical activities in the sector. Meanwhile, the Senate is assuring Nigerians of innovations and effective service delivery from the new Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, a product of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, with the Senate Committee on Downstream Petroleum screening 5 presidential nominees for the authority. National Assembly correspondent Oncology reports.
Before the committee are nominees as executive directors of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Authority. The legislators are pointing out critical areas of need and other lapses in the sector, stating how this could be addressed by the nominees if confirmed.
All this your petroleum experience, what are you going to bring to this new agency that you are going to?
Is for me to initiate the process of developing master plan of the gas infrastructure fund.
We can expand on possibilities, bringing investors to bridge the gap, not necessarily the oil company, but people who can see the good tariff in hauling some of these hydrocarbon derivatives.
For my own company, and I was being a consultant, providing services to all these companies for these years.
The committee members expressed satisfaction with the expertise displayed by the nominees.
He is an eminently qualified candidate for this position.
I believe that this set of people have been put together to be able to deliver within the shortest possible time.
At least everybody is happy with the choice the president has made, and would like to congratulate him and to thank him for making the right decision.
Their nomination was announced on Wednesday plenary of the Senate last week. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji, Moribiri, NTA News.
And to money matters, those waiting on Nigeria to float the naira will have to wait much longer as the central bank along with the Bankers Committee take firm position to defend the local currency. The governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele, disclosed this in Abuja when he reeled 5 thematic areas around the new policies designed to boost non-oil export and draw in $200 billion in 5 years.
To maximize the potentials and impact of this facility, we will replicate what other successful export-based economies have done by first prioritizing and targeting certain commodities. We will create a geographic prioritization of crops across the country to achieve production efficiencies through the development of special areas that will cater to specific commodities. Since sustainable foreign exchange earnings are dependent on national competitive advantage, a prioritization framework based on crops which Nigeria is best suited to produce would be essential. Today, we are also announcing the introduction of the non-oil FX rebate scheme, a special local currency rebate scheme for non-oil exporters of semi-finished and finished produce who show verifiable evidence of export proceeds repatriation sold directly into the INA window to boost liquidity in the market.
To education matters now, stakeholders in Bayelsa State converged in Enugu for an education summit with the theme optimizing the delivery, performance and sustainability of outcomes in the education sector. Fred Uwifi reports that former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan and Bayelsa State Governor Duyidiri were part of the event.
With an average enrollment of 191,000 students annually in the primary, secondary and tertiary institutions in Bayelsa State, the government needs to do more to bridge infrastructural deficit in the education sector through upgrade of facilities and the needed professional manpower to drive the system. The Maiden Bayelsa Education Summit called for restructuring with training and retraining of teachers and introduction of ICT in rural schools. Former President of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who described education as the key to a nation's development, called for more investment in the sector through partnership with stakeholders as he clamored for the adoption of a common language for the Ijaw nation.
We must train our best brains so that our space technology and nuclear program will develop to the level where we should be recognized and appreciated.
Describing the summit as apt in addressing the lingering challenges in the educational sector in the state, Governor Duyidiri called for a holistic approach on the way forward with inculcation of colloquial language in the curriculum.
Critical, not only for the education, but for the identity of a people. And for the Ijaws to have an identity, our language must not go extinct. And if it's not going to go extinct, then there must be conscious efforts by the government and by the people.
Education stakeholders in the state affirm that the upgrade of facilities will surmount the daunting challenges in the sector. Fred Uwefie, NTA News.
For more than a decade, insurgency has disrupted education and the educational system in the Northeast. However, efforts by government to change the situation is yielding positive results, and now there is light at the end of the tunnel. Working with like-minded stakeholders, the Yobe State government, one of the states affected by Boko Haram insurgency, is working to revive schooling in the state with the 25 billion naira fundraiser to help kickstart the process.
But that the environment is not conducive. Now this gathering is to support that environment to be better, to be improved upon.
The Council for the Regulation of Engineers in Nigeria, COREN, says stiffer sanctions will be given to any group of engineers found culpable in the Ikoyi building collapse, which killed many innocent Nigerians. The president of the council, Ali Rabiu, stated this when he received the report of the Special Investigative Panel, which examined the remote and immediate causes of the collapse. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
Incidences of collapsed buildings in Nigeria has become one too many. It has continued to claim the lives of innocent Nigerians. Such incidents have been blamed on negligence, usage of substandard materials, and quackery. The Council for the Regulation of Engineers in Nigeria, COREN, has been on top of its game sanctioning defaulters. One of the recent incidences was that of Ikoyi 21-story building which collapsed in Lagos. COREN constituted a special investigative panel to unravel the circumstances that led to the collapse, and now the report is being submitted with recommendations. President of the Council thanked the panel for the comprehensive report, promising to do the needful to avert future occurrence.
The collapse of a 21-story building is indeed an engineering failure. If there is any engineer or any engineering practitioner involved in this collapse, I want to assure you that COREN would, by the mandate given to it by the Act, ensure that such practitioners are sanctioned in accordance with the law.
The panel, in its findings, which will be seen in the report, was very concerned about the parlous state of the built environment, which unfortunately appears to be drifting out of control.
The report, according to the Council, will be scrutinized and transmitted to the Tribunal for necessary action. In Abuja, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
4,250 kilograms of bottles of cough syrup containing codeine and worth more than 2 billion naira have been intercepted by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency at the Apapa Seaport in Lagos. The consignment, which was imported into the country in 2 containers from India, was discovered behind cartons of Hypergra 200 milligrams and deluxe chili cutters. The NDLEA attributed the success story to collaborative efforts from foreign partners and other port stakeholders such as the Customs, Navy and the DSS. That's attributes. Our Jos studio will now bring us stories from that part of the country.
Thank you, Naja'atu. Welcome to Jos. An oncologist at the Jos University Teaching Hospital, Dr. Maurice Nandul, is advising women to carry out early cervical cancer check in view of its devastating effects. He made the plea at a sensitization against the disease in Jos. Grace Akwegotip has more.
Cancer, a disease destroying normal tissues, is globally considered as the leading cause of death. This is of great concern to stakeholders and necessitated this awareness by the Oncology unit of Jos University Teaching Hospital.
Cancer patients, there is hope for us. Fight cancer. Don't allow cancer to fight you. I was a cancer patient since 2006. And by 2007, by the grace of God, I become a survivor.
We now have a cancer unit, and hopefully, before the year runs out, we will have a radiotherapy center. It is cheaper to treat cancer when you get it at earlier stages than when it is advanced.
People should know that when cancer is detected early and treated, people can survive.
It's a great joy, to have youth partner with us in trying to reach out, to their struggles as well, and also most especially for the indigent.
For experts, early detection is key to its management, calling on the public to go for periodic check. In Jos, Grace Akwegotip, NTA News.
Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment has restated commitment to ensuring that agricultural produce meets international standard. This was at a training of soya beans farmers in Jos. Ndenyang and Dayabagyang reports.
Nigeria is said to be the largest producer of soybeans in West Africa, with Plateau State among the 16 major producing states in the country. However, the cultivation size is relatively less than 500,000 metric tons, largely due to inadequate markets and smallholder farmers with inadequate technical know-how, resulting to poor productivity and quality seeds. Recent efforts have made the crop a viable agricultural product, especially at the international market. To tap into this, the federal government is training farmers for quality yield.
From this program, we can add value to the production of soybeans for export.
There are many things that we learned today that we didn't know, especially where it concerns storage before export.
First of all, look at their farming as a business. If they now look at it as a business, they will go into it and produce fine, and they will get money.
The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, represented, says the training is to increase awareness on the crop towards making it internationally competitive in view of its strategic place in boosting the nation's GDP.
This program will certainly go a long way in taking care of the quality aspect of soybeans for export. Not just for export, but for local processing.
Goodwill messages emphasize the need for sustainability if the nation is to reap the potentials of soybeans on the international scene. In Jos, Ndenyan and Abagyang, NTA News.
And that report wraps it from Jos. Nationwide continues in Kaduna with Amina after the break.
The Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the state.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College Short Proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Computer Appreciation for Media Practitioners, date 21st February to 28th February 2022, 1 week. English Grammar and Pronunciation for Broadcasters, date 1st March to 25th March, 4 weeks. Administrative Principles, Processes and Practices, date 11th March to 31st March 2022, 4 weeks. Modern Trends in Broadcast Media Marketing, date 14th March to 13th April 2022, 4 weeks. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing, date 4th April to 19th April 2022, 2 weeks. The course fee for the 1 week course is 100,000 Naira per participant. The fee for the 2 week course is 150,000 Naira, while the course fee for the 4 week course is 180,000 Naira only, accommodation inclusive. The venue for all courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, training you to be the best you want to be.
Youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths.
With the youth constituting bulk of Nigeria's population, different organizations of government sustained implementation of initiatives to support their contribution to economic prosperity and security of the nation. In this report, Sulema Rigachkun looks at the role of the military.
For national defense and security, Nigerian military employs and trains the youths based on globally accepted guidelines and procedures. Nigerian Army, the General Officer commanding one division, Major General Kabir Mukhtar, in an exclusive interview with NTA News says is synergizing with traditional heads and civil authorities to sensitize the youth against juvenile delinquency with a view to having responsible young men get enlisted into the Nigerian armed forces.
In various locations we have linkage with other district heads, ward heads, and some youth organizations, and some through that they get recruited into the army. Some of them we try to talk to them, to mentor them, to show them, to talk to their other youth that are being misguided, going into delinquency of drug abuse, cultism, and what have you.
He says effective synergy with sister services and communities is in place to check and address any form of security breach.
We just need to understand what we are doing. You cannot do it alone. Security is everybody's business.
The General Officer commanding also tasked the youths to take their destiny in their hands by being responsible members of the society. Sulema Rigachkun, NTA News.
More than 13,000 people are to benefit from the Dutse Emirate 2022 Zakat distribution of farm produce and cash estimated at over 400 million naira. The Emir, Dr. Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi, while flagging off the Zakat distribution at Sara and Yairi districts, described Zakat as the surest way to reduce poverty in the land. Awal Muhammad Kazauri reports.
Is an obligatory act of worship upon all Muslims whose wealth attains certain limit specified by religious teachings. It's one among the 5 pillars of Islam. Understanding the context of zakat and its role in poverty alleviation among the Ummah, the Dutse Emirate Council designated a strong committee to collect and distribute it to the poor and the needy. Beneficiaries were high in spirit, appreciating the effort of the Emirate and expressed the hope that other parts of the country will emulate the gesture. Flagging of this year's exercise, Emir of Dutse Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi says the council will not relent in its effort to ensure proper and equal distribution. He added that the Emirate has become a role model in the country in zakat collection.
It's a tremendous support to poverty alleviation in this country. If other Emirates will do the same, within no time our poor people or the less privileged people will be very comfortable. They will not need to go and beg anybody.
The distribution of zakat for cash collection from the wealthy individuals across the Emirate continues. From Dutse, Awal Muhammad, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Naja'atu in Abuja.
Welcome back to our Abuja studios. Do remember that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live. To security matters now, troops of the Nigerian Armed Forces have within the last 3 weeks rescued 48 kidnapped persons and eliminated 20 terrorists in the northeast. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Bernard Onyeko, announced this at the periodic news conference in Abuja.
It's yet another Defense Media Operations briefing on the harvest from joint military operations between 28th January and 10th February 2022. Top on the list is the rescue of a total of 48 kidnapped victims by troops in different parts of the country and the elimination of 120 unrepented terrorists in the northeast.
The air interdiction that eliminated several SWAT commanders and their fighters were recorded during one of our air interdictions. Notably, Malam Ari, the Amirul Fia in charge of Kirta Urgu, and some foreign mercenaries fabricating improvised explosive device for the terrorists were killed during the airstrike.
Similarly, troops of Operation Wild Stroke on patrol intercepted 8 trucks loaded with vandalized railway tracks in North Bank, Makurdi, Benue State.
8 trucks laden with vandalized railway tracks, sleepers, 3 cars, 7 motorcycles, large quantities of marijuana were impounded in the course of the operation.
Fight against the nation's economic sabotage by troops of Operation Delta Safe led to the discovery and the activation of 45 illegal refining sites and 9 trucks loaded with crude oil products in the South-South. From the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Police Force has recognized the collaborative efforts of Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel in promoting peace in the state. The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba Ali, presented the governor with an award at a state banquet organized in honor of the IGP and other senior police officers. Susan Asupo reports.
The reward for hard work, they say, is more work, and the best way to get any job done is through motivation. The Distinguished Leadership Award presented to Governor Udom Emmanuel by the Inspector General of Police, therefore, is a motivation that places more demand on the governor to do more to deliver on his mandate of making Akwa Ibom the most peaceful state and a destination of choice. With the level of tranquility in the state, the governor appealed for the hosting of the 2022 police games in the state.
The entire Akwa Ibom people were indebted to you for your show of love, for your support, for your benevolence, for everything you've done, and above all, for who you are to Nigeria today.
The Inspector General of Police reassured the governor and Nigerians of the relentless effort of the force in providing internal security and providing a safer environment for the people.
We, on our part, are ready, willing, and able to provide the desired security to Nigerians so long as we have the wherewithal to do the work.
Other awardees at the event include Interim Administrator of the NDDC, Effiong Akwa, Boa Group, Innocent Group, and Premier Motors. In Uyo, Susan Asuko, NTA News.
The National Population Commission has inaugurated the Census Technical Working Group in anticipation of the 2022 Population and Housing Census. The Technical Working Group, charged with the responsibility of supervising the census project, has as its head the Acting Director General of the Commission, Mrs. Patience Bagu, with Dr. Inua Bakri Jalingo serving as Secretary. The chairman of the Commission, Nasser Isa, joined the working group to use its technical expertise to ensure that the Commission delivers the first digital census to the nation. And up next is Sports Update.
Nigeria is now the third best nation